It is one of the very first new models that was introduced in Medarot S at time of launch. It is FSL01 Fancy-Aile, REGRADED, with a kit of Bug, Break Hammer, Napalm, Light Legs, and the leg ability of Charm, which reduces incoming damage if the enemy attacking her is of the opposite gender. Now, as a model that's been around in Medarot S pretty much since day one as one of its very first limited pickup gachas, Fancy-Aile is a model that honestly is a very nice addition to any team, whether that be male or female, and her well-rounded kit, even if she has a shooting skill in there kind of tossed in, is a very versatile model that has good base speed, great stats and skills, and a model you generally can't ever go wrong with using. Bug on the head is an ailment-based skill that, upon attacking the target, if you catch them in heat phase, will effectively cancel their turn and force them to run the line and effectively waste it, because the bug pretty much prevented them from being able to play their turn, which is very good for turn skipping or even stalling potentially dangerous enemies on the field to buy yourself just a couple extra turns before they can possibly nuke you or turn the tides against you. Break Hammer on the right arm is a melee-based skill that has a gravity attribute, meaning it has a bonus tied to success, but it's also even better known for its ability of Heavy Punish. That means any foes that are packing 2 or more heavy parts will most certainly feel the pain from this clobbering jet broom, but if they're packing 1 or none, maybe not too much. But that boost to success does mean that she will have a higher chance of landing hits and crits, even if she is not going in for the Heavy Punish. Left arm of Napalm is a gunpowder skill and the only shooting skill on her kit, that upon attacking the target will be a scattered AoE, meaning it will damage 1 part normally and then 2 others at random at 1/3 damage. So while overall she may not be designed for nuking unless she's specifically fighting someone of heavy of 2 or more, she's designed as a more well-rounded, versatile, utility-based type bot, as one you can kind of fit in there pretty flexibly and easily, and fill in a lot of holes on a team based on how you choose to use her. Light Legs means that she will have a very high base mobility and evade stat, so she will most certainly have speed to her advantage on the field, and the Charm Leg ability also makes it easier for her to keep her incoming damage low, because if she's fighting a male-type bot and they attack her, she will be taking considerably less damage. But if the incoming enemy is a female-type bot, she will most certainly feel no change to her incoming damage. In terms of armor across the board, she's kind of scattered, but also not too shabby either, with a head HP of about 3,400, right arm of about 2,800, left arm at 2,600, and her legs at 2,900. So, albeit par for the course for females, having light armor like this is also to be expected of a flight-based model. So, something you can kind of forgive to a point if you exercise caution and pay attention to how you use her. Her leg stats are actually very, very nice though, to a point. A mobility of 871 is very nice, as it means that, as expected of a flight leg, she will most certainly have high speed at her advantage, and this is before factoring in any speed bonuses from terrain, Medarot bonus, heat or cool, or even any power-up chips that come into play. An evade of almost 2,000 is also very, very nice though, as it means she will have a very easy time dodging or grazing a lot of attacks of even mid-range success. But because she is a flight leg, I do greatly exercise caution because she is subject to anti-air weakness, which will absolutely take this magical girl witch type down faster than you'd really want her to go down. A melee resist of 768 and a shoot resist of 781, they're not bad. Definitely going to be taking considerably more damage from incoming attacks on both sides, so she is going to be very largely reliant on her charm-like ability and her evade to keep the damage as low as possible. So again, definitely recommend exercising some caution when using her, especially if anyone's packing anti-air on the enemy side, which will absolutely lay waste to her. Now, when it comes to her tune-up treatments, Fancy-Aile basically takes everything she was already good at and makes it even better, with even better multipliers or utility across the board. Her head has access to plus 50 to cool, 50 to heat. The debuff of Bug has access to minus 10% to cool if you attack a foe in cooldown, and she gets 1 additional head use. Now, it is worth noting that compared to most other bug or virus users, whether they be male or female, Fancy-Aile has been always well known of being very, very speedy with her head, which means she already has no real trouble or drawback being able to outrun a foe and possibly turn skip them. But in the rare instances where she fails to outrun them, this minus 10% honestly will be very nice as well, as it means that she can certainly finish cooling off faster to make use of another skill. That, naturally, and the extra head use are both going to be most certainly the big go-to bonuses to capitalize on, since being completely honest, that 50 to heat and cool really won't be something you'll notice very easily while on the field. Her right arm has access to plus 100 to power, plus 50 to cool, and the heavy punish has minus 1 to the damage requirement and a 300% modifier upon being triggered. Now, much like any other Break Hammer user that has the Tuneup Treatment available to it, Fancy-Aile is a model that absolutely will love capitalizing on this, because anyone packing at that point 1 or 2 heavy parts will be facing a very massive damage punishment, almost as if they were packing 2 or 3 or even a cap of 3. Plus, that 300% modifier will most certainly come in handy in guaranteeing that every hit that she lands will be absolutely painful, and as painful as can be to anyone packing the weight. Naturally, that's going to be the big go-to bonus you want to shoot for, and the plus 100 to power will be nice as well, as it does mean she will be dealing considerably more damage at base before any modifiers are in play. Her left arm has access to plus 500 to armor, plus 200 to power, and a passive plus 200 more to power when triggering pierce collateral damage. Now, you honestly have a lot of good bonuses on here you really can't ever go wrong with using based on how you choose to use her. You could go for the armor if you want to make her just a little tankier overall and more suited for survival, but ideally I would focus on the base power and the passive power to make every use of the Napalm skill more capitalized on and beneficial, since even as a scattered skill, its damage will be somewhat inconsistent, so you want to make sure every hit that lands is put to its most use. Her legs have access to plus 200 to melee and shoot resist at the same time, plus 100 to evade. Charm gets an additional 20% damage reduction when triggered, and she gets S rank on 2 terrain opportunities, mountain and wilderness terrains. Now, being completely honest, I usually tend to advocate against the terrain matches for a lot of reasons, but when it comes to flight legs, she does have some rather mixed range utility and terrain mastery for a lot of reasons. For instance, wilderness or in forest terrains, she really will not play very nicely and struggle a lot trying to keep up her speed. But thanks to having that on mountain and wilderness terrain, she will absolutely keep that speed going, and for sure being able to keep that up going and make sure she can keep her speed anytime possible. The charm leg ability gets an additional 20%, means that upon taking damage from male type targets, will be taking almost half damage, 40% to be more specific, once it is triggered. So that is absolutely something you for sure want to capitalize on even before the terrain bonuses. The shoot and melee resist at 200, bumping her up to almost 900, is nice to have if you want to go after it over terrain, and the extra mobility, putting her up to almost 1000, also is a very nice bonus to shoot for as well, if you decide to go for speed or utility over terrain mastery. Now, factoring in her original pure set and mixed parts scores, I did originally have her at a 7 out of 10 for her pure and a 7.5 out of 10 for her mixed, primarily for the fact that she has a very wide range of utility-based skills that you really can't ever go wrong with using, whether that be as a pure set by herself or as mixed parts and you decide to spread her out. But factoring in her tune-up bonuses, I do very easily have to rate her at an 8 out of 10 for her pure and an 8.5 out of 10 for her mixed, given that she already, like I said, takes what she was already good at before and makes it even better and more user-friendly with a lot of very nice bonuses or modifiers that she did not have access to before.